Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, from the onset, the dice had already been cast, and there was no way GACHAGUA was going to survive the wrath of the parliament, especially after he went further to even mention Speaker Moses Wetangula during his defense in parliament.
Osoro, order, order.
Honorable Speaker, based on the responsibility you bestowed on me, Jared Okello, MP for Nyando, Zahir Janda, Honorable Onesmus Ngogoyo, and Honorable Njeri Maina, we are here to declare the results as follows, Honorable Speaker. The nays, 44. Abstentions, 1. And the ayes, 281.
Most analysts say that the parliament's procedure or the parliament session was political, but the Senate session, which is going to be another the second stage, or rather the last stage, is a bit legal oriented. Most people say that GACHAGUA still stands another chance in the Senate because they are now going to proceed to a phase where those evidence which Mwengi Mutuse alleged are supporting his impeachment motion is going to be tabled in the Senate, and GACHAGUA is going to table evidences. So this evidence will be cross-examined by the Senate, who will make a determination based on those documents. Of course, the numbers are not in favor of GACHAGUA even in the Senate, but it's going to depend on Paul Muite, Aminwa, and a battery of lawyers whom GACHAGUA has aligned, ladies and gentlemen. So before we get further on this analysis, please do me one favor, just like this video. It's so important if you like this video. And by the way, I don't take that for granted. Subscribe to our channel if you've not subscribed before, and to existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. When GACHAGUA chose to use an example of William RUTO, when RUTO attacked the DCI and NIS boss back then, I knew that GACHAGUA was not going to survive in the parliament. That is the time I knew that the dice had been cast. Because when he chose, and by the way, he was very smart. I like the way he presented his or executed his defense, because he used live examples, which are videos from William RUTO.
Call out those in the security sector. I would like you to play next video, where
we have the most incompetent Inspector General of Police, I think, in the world. The most incompetent in the whole world. His incompetence may not necessarily play out when things are working, but when things get to a head and you need some decisions to be made, I can tell you for sure, the gentleman we have as an IG cannot make any decision.
Nataka tumwambie ule mtu wa sinema mingi anaitwa nani ule mtu? Ule sijui anaitwa DCI, ule anaitwa nini? Ule mtu anaitwa KINOT. Awache ujinga. Huyo bwana Kiboti awache ujinga. Sio kama tunaelewana. Huyo KINOT hakuna kitu amefanya kwa hii Kenya ya kisiasa. Yeye ni mtu ya sinema. anaendesha makesi kwa magazeti, anatuandikia barua, sijui barua ya kilomita ngapi. Mr. Kinoti, please save your time. Stop writing to us long letters. Leave matters of elections to IEBC. You have no business in IEBC. You have failed as DCI. We don't want you to fail our elections. Tunaelewana? Huyo bwana Kinoti awache hiyo ujinga yake anaendesha pale, kwa sababu anatukasirisha. Huyo bwana Kinoti tunataka tumwambie awachane na watu wa IEBC wafanye hii uchaguzi. Alipatiwa kazi ya kufanya criminal investigation. He has never done anything. Ile kesi yote anafanya kesi kwa magazeti, akiambiwa apeleke evidence kule kotini ameshindwa. So bwana Kinoti, wacha sinema. You have failed and wait for August so that you can.
Honorable members, that was President William Ruto as Deputy President criticizing IG Mutiabai, DCI Kinoti. Rigathi Gachagua has learned his job from his boss, that public officers must be called to order when they fell short of expectation. And I never saw anybody bring William Ruto here for impeachment for criticizing the IG or the DCI. This is a very unfair allegation.
He used references on the same leaders who are leading Kenya Kwanza. There's an example of Moses Wetangula. There's an example of Musalia Mudavadi. There's an example of William Ruto Kingi. And we did an analysis on shares where these leaders were also roped in that press briefing that Rigathi Gachagua released. So onto this defense. When Rigathi Gachagua chose to use examples of William Ruto, the pronouncements, and how Ruto talked about IG and DCI, and he was very, very tough on them, even going to an extent of saying that the DCI and the NIS had not done their jobs diligently. So this was brought there as an evidence. And in his defense, he also went further to say he was merely trying to be like William Ruto. So in other words, what he was trying to say is that he is normally motivated by the words of William Ruto. So he was really trying to amplify those statements by William Ruto. But you see, the members of parliament were already determined to shoot down any attempt by Rigathi Gachagua to try to woo back, to try to convince the members of parliament not to impeach him. Nevertheless, they have impeached him. But you see, from the look of things, I think Rigathi Gachagua still has a chance, has a very, very huge chance. But that is going to depend on his lawyers, who are going to execute their defense in the Senate. But the big problem, again, is that Rigathi already pronounced Amason Kingi, the name Amason Kingi. He used the name Amason Kingi in his press statement. So I don't know if this is going to make or break. But basically from that part, I think this is not going to work to the advantage of Rigathi Gachagua. But I know there are so many people still wish that Rigathi Gachagua retains that seat, of a deputy president, that the impeachment fails. So this is going to be dependent on the legal team, whom I believe are going to take, if at all in the Senate, they fail to secure that mandate to have Rigathi Gachagua retain. The matter will be taken to court. And the courts had already pronounced their position and said that their directives must be met. I'm looking at the scenario where we have someone like Kawira Mwangaza, who was impeached. Kawira was impeached, but immediately went to the court and had herself reinstated. So someone was telling me that can also be an avenue for Rigathi Gachagua. So Rigathi Gachagua is going to mount a serious defense, and he started it in the National Assembly. So going forward in the Senate and the courts, Rigathi will execute his defense, which I think the Senate should be prepared for this kind of defense, and Mwengi Mutuse should be prepared for, again, that kind of defense on his allegations. I don't know how many of you remember the public participation, where there were pronouncements that there was some kind of riggings that took place during public participation forums. Well, the numbers which were tabled before Rigath's impeachment was that there was 116,269 votes which were in favor of the motion to have Rigathi Gachagua kicked out. Then there is 69,195 votes which were opposing the impeachment. In other words, 69,195 citizens did not support the impeachment, but 116,269 citizens supported the impeachment. This is what was tabled, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what led to 281 members of parliament voting a yes and 44 members of parliament voting for a no. And what followed is that the National Assembly overwhelmingly voted to have Rigathi Gachagua kicked out. So that is the position, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, there was talk that, according to maths, we thought that maybe the members of parliament in Mount Kenya, combined with the members of parliament in Ukambani and other regions, who would give Rigathi Gachagua at least 100 votes. You know, 100 votes, it's voters who maybe would have voted no. And going by the totals here, ladies and gentlemen, 281 by 44, we have a number of 325. So let's assume 100 did not vote to support it. We would have had we would have had 235. And I understand 231 votes. If 231 voted for a yes, then Rigathi would still remain impeached. But if 229 voted for a yes, then Rigathi Gachagua was not going to remain impeached. That this matter was just going to stop there. But the fact that 281 MPs voted to support it, that is where now, in matters of National Assembly, the decision has been made, and the decision is he must go home. So the big question, ladies and gentlemen, is Rigathi Gachagua going to survive the onslaught of the Senate Assembly? Just go below in the comment section and you can offer a reaction on that. So perhaps if you're watching this video and have not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.